Oh, there we are. We are live.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, 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 everybody. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us. A very warm welcome to this live webinar hosted by Global Sources. Today we have Kevin King, the one and only Kevin King, from ANZ Marketer and freedomticket.com joining us. And Kevin will be sharing 3 secrets that every Amazon seller must know to get a quick boost in sales. My name is Meghlab Hardwaj, and I will be facilitating this webinar. Hi, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? Good to see you again. It's been a
Yeah,
been a few months.
it is. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again at the summit in April.
I know. I got to get back over. I'll be back over in Hong Kong for a little while, and we'll see each other again. This time you gotta have a cool sign for me. I had that sign that said FBA King. It fit perfectly. So what are you gonna do
Yeah.
this time? You gotta come up with something even cool, the one and only, or something like that.
Yeah, I think we need a sign only for you, like the one and only Kevin King. Awesome. Okay, so for those of you watching, why don't you go ahead and quickly tell us which city you're watching this webinar from? Where are you at? It'd be interesting to know where people are from. And while people do that, what I want to do is before I hand over things to Kevin, I want to spend 5 minutes talking a little bit about Global Sources and how Global Sources helps e-commerce sellers source products from China more effectively. Okay, let me just quickly take a look at the chat over here and see if people are typing in. Okay, I think it takes a bit of time for the chat messages to show up. There's a slight delay, so. Okay, so we have Chicxulub, Yucatan, Merida. New York. Hi, Modi from New York. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick and do a 5-minute talk on how Global Sources helps e-commerce sellers. Just give me a second here. Okay, awesome. Kevin, can you see my screen?
I do. I see you want to go into the presentation mode. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, how about now?
I can see it, but I see all your slides on the left. You want to either swap screens or go into the presentation mode? I think you might have grabbed the wrong screen. When you set up, you want to choose the instead of application, you want to actually choose the desktop or
Okay,
the
okay.
whole monitor.
Okay, yeah, 1 second.
Sorry, everybody. Should be getting this right to you, and then I've got about probably an hour-long presentation to show you some really cool stuff. So make sure you stick around and hang out. I got some really cool stuff to share with you.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, much better.
Good.
There you go. All good.
Okay, cool, awesome. All right, so what does Global Sources do? So Global Sources basically helps importers around the world find and meet exporters in China and the rest of Asia. And by importers, we mean anybody who's really looking to source products from China. It could be retailers, distributors, wholesalers, private label sellers, Amazon sellers, so anybody who's looking to source products from China. And how do we do it? We do this in 3 ways. So we have an online supplier directory at globalsource.com. We host sourcing trade shows in Hong Kong every April and October. And we also organize a conference for online sellers in Hong Kong. So this is our online supplier directory, globalsource.com. So in case you're looking for products to private label from China or other countries in Asia, just head on to the site, search for the products you're looking for, and then you can contact suppliers directly in China and other countries in Asia. We also have a section called Analyst Choice on the website that I think would be very useful for e-commerce sellers, because one of the challenges sellers face is that they're always looking for profitable products to source. And in the Analyst Choice section, we have in-house analysts and editors who are actually curating these products. So they're actually sitting, their job all day is just to look for new, innovative, cool products from Chinese suppliers, and then we post about these products in the Analyst Choice section. So if you're looking for profitable products to source, do check out this section on globalsource.com. Okay, our trade shows. So we host 4 trade shows every April and October. They are consumer electronics, mobile electronics, gifts and home, and lifestyle products. And if you want to learn more about the upcoming exhibitions, which are going to be held this April, head on to globalsource.com/exhibitions. Okay, and then we also host a 3-day conference for Amazon and e-commerce sellers. That's called Global Sources Summit. And Kevin has been a speaker at the conference, and he's coming back to speak again in April. So this conference is for experienced sellers who are already selling on Amazon, and even new sellers, find the content useful. And this conference is actually co-located with our trade shows. So the idea is that you come to Hong Kong, you attend the conference, learn all about sourcing and selling on Amazon, and at the same time, you can meet with suppliers on the show floor. So, sourcing and learning at the same time. If you want more information, you can head over to globalsource.com/summit. Okay, if you have any questions about the summit or anything that Global Sources does, you can send an email to summitinfo@globalsources.com. Okay, so that was my 5-minute pitch.
Very good.
Okay, so Kevin, I'm going to hand things over to you now. And
all right.
Yeah.
Cool. So does everything look good on over there? Oops. Get rid of this guy.
I don't see your screen yet.
You see it now?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. Nice. We got there we go. All right. So, all right. Welcome everybody to this webinar training. I'm gonna be going for about the next hour or so. Let me hide this guy here so that it doesn't bother you guys on this presentation. There we go. Go about the next hour or so. I'm going to give you 3 secrets that every successful Amazon seller must know for a quick boost in sales. So no matter what your Amazon experience level, you're going to learn 3 actionable strategies today that could make a difference in your Amazon business. Like she said, my name is Kevin King. I'm part of the Freedom Ticket, AMZ Marketer, Helium 10 Elite. I'm a 7-figure seller on Amazon. I've been selling since 2001 on Amazon. I've done millions of dollars in sales on Amazon. I speak at events all over the world, including the Global Sources Summit in Hong Kong. I spoke there last year. I'll be coming back again this year to speak. I've been featured on all the top podcasts, many of them several times in the industry. I'm also one of the lead mentors in the Helium 10 Elite the program, where we train advanced sellers. Collectively, they're doing over $500 million a year in sales. But the thing I like about this business, and the reason I do this business, is for the freedom it gives me. I've traveled to all 7 continents and 92 countries. And so by doing that, this business, e-commerce, I'm able to do that. I mean, I've been to like the Taj Mahal in India. These are actually my photos that I took on some of my trips. I've been to the Serengeti in Africa, to Petra in Jordan, to over the water bungalows in Tahiti, to Christ the Redeemer in Rio, and the salt flats of Bolivia, and the southern tip of South America, and Cinque in Italy, and the islands, the Greek islands. I mean, so that's what this business does. I was able to get married to my beautiful wife in Colombia, who I met on one of my trips in Colombia a couple years ago. But I love having an office view that looks something like this. Most of us are sitting in an office, and and it's just it gets old or gets boring. This is my view recently at my office. At the end of the day, My wife and I just go and have a nice wine and cheese tasting and watch the sunset go down over the islands. So some of you may not know who I am. So why in the heck should you even listen to who I am or listen to anything about me? I These are some of the top guys in the industry, like Kevin Reiser says, I tend to over deliver on value and information. Manny Coates, who has one of the top podcasts, says I've dropped massive bombs all over the place. Steven Peterson says that every 3 to 4 minutes there's another great idea and they all build on each other. And people like Ed Rosenberg calls me a walking encyclopedia of Amazon and marketing. So that's my background. I'm passionate about this stuff, and you're going to see here in the stuff that I'm going to share with you. Hopefully, it will help make a big difference in your business. So if you guys are ready, let's do this. Like she said, I'm going to be at the Global Sources Summit. It's in conjunction with the Global Sources Trade Show. The summit part of that is the 27th to the 29th. It's for advanced Amazon sellers. And the beautiful thing that I like about this conference is it's not only can you go there and learn for Amazon stuff, but also the trade show element is really good, and the quality I find. I go to the Canton Fair and other trade shows as well, but I found the quality of the products at the Global Sources Fair to be a little bit higher and a little bit more unique. So it's a great place to go to source for products and meet suppliers. In addition to, or in lieu of, it depends on what your schedule is, the Canton Fair, because you'll find cool stuff there. I mean, at the conference, it's actionable content from all the leading e-com pros. And it's the only, like I said, the only e-commerce conference where you can also meet thousands of suppliers at the same time as you're learning. So the 3 secrets that every successful Amazon seller must know for a quick boost in sales. Number 1, the first secret is on Amazon. Sales come from basically 3 different places. They either come from the search results, from product pages, or from Google or social media. The search results would mean someone going into the search browser and typing a search term. That accounts for about 35% of the sales. Someone types in a search term, they see an item that they like in the results, they click on it and they buy it. They don't go anywhere else. The Google and social media, Google is where you can get indexed. Google indexes, and so does Bing and the other search engines. They index Amazon. So people might start their search at Google, typing in something, and they end up landing at Amazon and making a purchase. And the same with social. People run Facebook ads or mention stuff on Pinterest and different things. They come in that way. The other place that sales are generated, where they originate on Amazon, are on product pages. And product pages are the actual page where you see the bullet points, the title, the description, the photos of the item. But a lot of times someone might type something on one of those pages, or type in a keyword in the search results. They click on something that looks of interest to them, but they don't actually buy that item. They end up instead buying something else that's on the page. So we're going to be talking about these today. I'm going to be showing you some strategies and tips on how to increase your sales by addressing these. But the first thing you got to know is, where should your keyword emphasis be in your listing? So when you're building a product listing page, the number 1 place, the most important place your keyword should be, is in the title. The title is critical. So whatever keywords you're targeting, and most products on Amazon make their sales from about 3 to 8 keywords. Sometimes it's 10 or 12 or 15, but the vast majority of products, it's 3 to 8 keywords that generate most of the sales. The long tail keywords, which are the longer words and less search for, those can add up, but it's usually about maybe 10% of your total overall sales. So your title is critical for having your main keywords. The subject matter field is, in my opinion, the second most important. Now, this is a field that's in the back end. The public doesn't see this, and this is different than the search terms. This is called subject matter, and it looks something like this. It's not the search term one where you put your hidden keywords or whatever. It's the subject matter, and you get five lines of 50 characters each, so about 250 characters. To me, these are critical, and a lot of people miss this and they leave them blank. But in my opinion, it's the second most important place, and we're going to come back and talk about that in a minute. The third most important place, I believe, to put good keywords is in your search terms. And the search terms, most of you know what that is. That's the one that's right below the red box here where it says search terms. That's the next most important place. The fourth most important place, in my opinion, is something called other fields. And this is, again, something that a lot of people leave blank and they don't fill in. The other fields are in the back end of Seller Central, and they look something like this: target audience, intended use, other attributes. And some people are not sure what to put here. It's kind of shows in the gray there a little default, like target audience, teens, toddlers, cats, intended use. It says baseball, Halloween kitchen. and so on. So maybe you type some of those in, or maybe you type, the target audience of this is women or something like that. Well, by just doing that or doing some of these suggestions from Amazon, you actually might be hurting yourself and hurting your sales. I'm going to show you how to figure out what you should really put there in just a second. The fifth most important place, I believe, for keywords are your bullet points. And then the sixth most important place would be your reviews and your questions and answers. So if customers are asking questions about your product, you want to make sure you answer and use keywords in your answers. This doesn't help a whole lot on Amazon, but it helps you with Google SEO and outside SEO. Same for the reviews. And then number 7 is your description. That's the least most important of these 7. And you always want to make sure your first 200 of your characters of your description are super, super strong. Don't put an FAQ in there or put bullet points. Even if you have EBC, enhanced brand content, where you have photos and nice stuff, you still want to make sure the first 200 characters of your description are really strong, because that shows up prominently on mobile. Or if the EBC doesn't show for some reason, sometimes it'll show just these first 200 characters. Or if you don't have EBC, all people see are the first 200 characters, and then they have to click to actually see the rest of the description. So those are critical sales points. So take a look at this example here. This is from the Helium 10's profit tool, and these are some screenshots from some products I sold from November, right just before Thanksgiving in the U.S. to just after Christmas. It's 3 different items that I sold, and you can see here the gross on them was $33,000 on one, $18,000 on the other, and $29,000 on the other one. So what's that, about $70,000 or so in gross. My landed cost on these was about $1.52, and I was selling them for $19.95. So I had really incredible ROI, as you can see there, 700+%, and really good margins. But the point of these is I made $51,362 in profit, and just slightly over a month with these 3 items. But I never did any PPC, no advertising at all. I didn't do any one of these launches where you have to give away a bunch of products at a discount or get people to buy it and play the games where get people to buy it and then they rebate them later. I didn't do any kind of ranking shenanigans at all for this product. And I was still able to make this kind of profit. And how did I do that? How did I do that without doing any of these crazy things, just by putting the product up on Amazon? Well, I had a little bit of an advantage. It's a seasonal product, so there is some people looking for this type of thing. So that gave me a little bit of an edge. But the number one thing that gave me an edge was that I focused on something called other fields. I mean, I put my good title, I put my good subject matter, I put my good search terms, but I focused on the other fields. And remember, that's this one here: the intended use, the target audience, other attributes, and so on. Well, if you go into these fields and you start to type something, Amazon will actually start to give you some ideas, some suggested terms. So as you start to type, they may say, hey, intended use, choose something out of this list. And maybe you choose something out of that list. Or if you go in and you start typing in target audience, it gives you some others: professional audience, teens, unisex children, consumer audience, this random stuff that's like, what the heck is this stuff? Or if you go into subject matter, remember this is the second most important one. It tells you some suggestions: winter, autumn, Father's Day, summer, spring, Mother's Day, digital video recorders. Well, what if I'm selling a makeup brush? It still shows me digital video recorders there. That has nothing to do, in most cases, with a makeup brush. So there's many other important fields like this too. So how do you know what to do? How do you know what you're supposed to put in there? Well, the tip that I'm about to give you, won me this suitcase of cash at an event I went to in October in New York. They had a contest for all the attendees there, and we had to get in these little groups. And they said, okay, it's like groups of 8 people, and the 8 people would go around the circle and share a tip, and then the group would vote on whoever had the best tip, and then the winners of each of these groups of 8, which was I think there's about 20 or 15 or 20 of these groups of 8, would go up on stage, and without presentation slides or anything, would have to tell their tip. And the winner got this suitcase full of cash, which was pretty cool. So that's what I'm about to share with you, was this cash-winning tip that beat out all these other tips from these high-level sellers. So the way you want to figure this out is there's a section in the back of your Seller Central called Inventory Reports. And when you go in there and you look under Inventory Report, it shows all these different reports that you can get for your inventory, active listings, and all this random stuff. Some of you probably never even looked at. But there's one that's missing in there. There's one report that's just Amazon, for whatever reason, they hide it for some reason. What you have to do is email Amazon and say, hey, please turn this report on. It's called the category listing report. And once it's turned on, it doesn't cost you anything to turn it on. Once it's turned on, then you can actually pull down this report, and it'll show something like this where it says select report type category listing. And then below it, you're going to choose your category depending on what product you're in. If you're in beauty or sports or pets or whatever it is, there's a different category listing report. And it's basically a blueprint of your listing on Amazon. It's like a master plan of your listing on Amazon. And so, like I said, Amazon hides it by default. So all you got to do is open up a support ticket and ask them to activate it. And it should be active for about anywhere from 7 to 90 days. And I don't know why they deactivate it, but they deactivate it. Maybe it's because if someone hacks your account, they have the blueprint to the house or the master key, or I'm not sure why they do it, but they do it. So once it's been activated, it takes them like 24 hours usually to do it. You can download this report for your category. So if you're in beauty, or you can download the beauty category listing report. If you're selling in multiple brands, you'll have to download different ones for each of the multiple categories that you're in. And then you're going to download the flat file for your category and the category browse tree guide. Those are two different things. You can get those from Amazon. You don't have to be logged into Seller Central. You can just probably Google it. Google category browse tree guide, Amazon.com, and it'll come up. It's probably the easiest way to find it, or flat file. A flat file is like an Excel, or it's like a spreadsheet. And this is what the big sellers that are doing lots of products they use. They don't want to sit there and have to type in everything one by one, so they use these spreadsheets. It's a little daunting for some people. It confuses them, but you're gonna use this file because it has the values inside it that you want. So remember, when you're going over here to these other fields, like other attributes, and it says behind the neck feature, color display feature, microphone feature, all this random stuff, it's actually not correct. I don't know why Amazon is this way, but the data that Amazon actually wants is in those other files. So you're going to open your category listing report and see what's missing. It's going to show you the holes and what's relevant for your product, and then you're going to compare that to the browse tree guide and the flat file. So let's take an example of bath soaps. So if I go into bath soaps and I click on something, look in the browse tree file for bath soaps, and find my product category, I see that the source attribute keywords should be one of these: alcohol-free, ammonia-free, or doesn't have to be just one of these, whichever ones are appropriate to you. Maybe it's all of them, maybe it's 3 of them, 6 of them, whatever. But these are the values that they actually want for bath soaps. These are the specific values for that category. So these are the values that you're going to want to put in your back end, either using the flat file or manually in them. So you're going to look at your category listing for it, see what's missing and that's wrong, and use the data in the browse tree guide under the refinements tab and under the valid values tab in the flat file. So it's the refinements tab in the browse tree guide will show you the values that should be there, and the valid values tab in the flat file is where you find this potential data. And then you're going to go in and enter that in the Seller Central backend, or if you're comfortable, you can enter it into your category listing report and re-upload it as a flat file if you're comfortable with that. But most people aren't. This here can dramatically change how your products show up. For example, on the back end of Seller Central, there's something called intended use. If you look at, remember back here we had one of these. I'll go all the way back to show you one. One of these was called intended use. This one right here, intended use. It shows business gifts, entertainment, automobiles, microphone feature, and so forth. Well, for my bath soaps, none of that's really applicable. So if I just enter some random stuff in there, that's okay, but I'm not really giving Amazon what they want, and that may be hurting me. So if I come back here and look at intended use, and the browse tree guide, it's called specific uses keywords. It's the same thing. I don't know why the names don't match, but it's you have to kind of play a game with Amazon here. But specific uses keywords is the intended use. And so what should actually be here, instead of airplane or suitcase or whatever the heck that other stuff was, is acne, blemishes, blackheads, or anti-aging, or whatever my product is. And these bath soaps, maybe dehydration and dryness might be applicable, or lifting and firming. It depends on what they do, or scars and wounds. So that you're going to put those into the flat file, or you're going to enter those into the back end of Seller Central. If you look here on the right side where the 2 arrows are, I put makeup, shaving, and travel is what I had. This is what my category listing report showed I had in my blueprint, and that's just totally wrong. I need to put one of these others or multiples of these others that are applicable. And that's going to be, I'm going to put those into the other attributes here, like in this one, and the other attributes on the back end, or do it in the spreadsheet in the flat file. So if you can't fill these up, if you only find 1 or 2 keywords that are applicable, don't let the rest of the space go to waste. Fill it up with other good keywords. That's when you can start making up stuff, or that stuff that's appropriate. That's where you want to put those in. Empty is bad in a category listing report. For example, here, skin type, it's showing mine is blank on the top left. I had nothing in my category listing report. My blueprint shows I'm blank, but I need to come over here and skin type for this should be one of these or multiple of these if it's applicable. That's the values that Amazon wants. So why should you do this? Why should you even worry about this? It's going to help you on relevancy for like your PPC, for all that kind of stuff, keyword indexing. When people filter the search results, over on the left-hand side, they can filter. That a lot of these phrases is what Amazon shows as the filter. So if someone comes in there and yours is paraffin-free, and they click that little button, instead of 10,000 results, now you're down to 300 or 200, or just the people that are doing this right. And so you can eliminate a lot of your competition. It helps you on your sponsored ads impressions, and it's a great way to get more sales. So that's the first secret that a lot of people don't realize that they're doing wrong on a listing. If you take this action, it's a little bit confusing, so maybe you have to go back and rewatch this video again, but it's a super powerful way to really, really help yourself. All right, that's secret number 1. So we got 2 more cool secrets, and I got a little bonus for you right after that. So if you like this, go ahead and type it in the chat. Let me know. I can't see the chat, but go ahead and type in the chat what you thought of this secret number 1. Let me know, and that way I can make sure that I'm giving you some really cool stuff. But while you're typing that in, I'll give you just a second. I'm going to grab a sip of water, and we'll go on to secret number 2. All right, secret number 2. The number 1 key to success on Amazon is math and data analytics. If you're not good at math, or you don't like looking at data, you either need to find a partner who's good at it, or you need to hire somebody, because this is the key. All the big sellers out there will tell you, yes, you need a good product. You need to go to global sources and find a good product and negotiate good pricing and all that kind of stuff. But the real opportunity and the real money is made by analyzing data and analytics, and then adjusting what you're selling. People always say, how much money do I need to start this business? If you haven't been selling yet, people say, you can start with $500, you can start with $1,000, 10,000. You hear all kinds of different numbers. Or maybe you've already got a couple of products up and you're thinking about launching a new product. Well, how much budget should you set aside in your company's budget to launch this new product? Well, a lot of people do this wrong. There's lots of YouTube videos, Facebook groups, courses that teach you find something that's that's under a certain weight, or between this BSR and that BSR. It can be air freighted, all kinds of things. And so what happens is everybody's looking at these same types of criteria, and they're finding the same type of stuff, and it becomes very competitive, very fast, and very diluted. So what you want to do is what I recommend you do is you start, if you're going to launch a new product, whether you're brand new or it's new in your line that you already have, is you need to start with at least 2.5 times your initial inventory investment as your budget. So what does that mean? For example, let's say you have $5,000 as your budget to launch a new product. Well, that means that 5,000 divided by 2.5 is $2,000. So you have $2,000 to spend on your initial inventory. Now you might need to add to that a little bit. Maybe there's long lead times, and there are circumstances where you may need to order more. But the reason you do this is because when you launch a product on Amazon, you're most likely not going to get paid before you need to order more. If you have a successful product, it's going to start selling. You got to wait a couple weeks or more to get paid from Amazon, and you're going to have to order. Once you know that this product is going to be good, you're going to have to call up the factory that you found at Global Sources or wherever you found them, and say, hey, look, I need some more. It's going to take them a month or 2 months to do it. You got to build that lead time in. So you've got to find something where you don't run out of stock, and that's manageable for you, because the worst thing you can do is have a success, run out of stock, and you're out of stock for a month or 2 months while you're waiting for more to come in. Because what happens is then you're just basically starting all over. And when you come back in the stock, you've lost your ranking, you've lost everything. You still have a few reviews and stuff, but you basically have to spend a lot of extra money to try to get right back to page 1, and it just costs you, and it becomes this vicious cycle. So that's why you don't want to spend all your investment. You want to find products that you can have a better chance to stay in stock on. So I create this spreadsheet here. This is just my internal little spreadsheet that you can modify it. But for example, if I want to look for a product that's going to sell 10 per day, my goal is to sell 10 of whatever item it is per day. That's 300 per month. To rank this, I'm going to need about 80. I'm going to have to give discounts or heavily invest in PPC or whatever way you want to rank it is. We're not going to talk about that right now. And my landed cost, which means the cost from the factories you found at Global Sources to getting it into the States with taxes and duties and shipping and everything, needs to be about $5.26. Anything you sell on Amazon, if you're going to try to make money, you need to at least 4x your cost, up to 9x. Now those rules change if you start getting into some of the expensive items over $100. You can modify this a little bit, but if you're under $100, and I see it all the time, someone says their landing cost is $5 and they're selling it for $9.95 or $12.95. There's no room there. You don't have room after Amazon's fees, after PPC, after all your other costs. You're not going to be making money. That's why 90% of the people that try to sell on Amazon, they fail. Because they don't do this right. They either run out of money or they don't get ahead of it or they choose incorrectly. So I need to find something that's selling for $21 to $47. If it's selling for $19.95, okay, maybe that'll work. If it's selling for $59.95, great. It doesn't have to be exactly in here, but this is just to ballpark it. So what if you have $2,000 to start? You're that much money. You need to find something that's $800 to spend on your initial inventory. So you got to lower your expectations and find something that's not going to quite sell as much. Or if you have $20,000 to start, well, now you can spend about $8,000 on your initial inventory, and you can find stuff in a different range. So you need to think about this from a mathematical data analytics point of view, so that you have the best chance of success. Because the worst thing you can do when you're launching a new product is to go out of stock on Amazon. So how do I find products that meet this criteria? My secret weapon is a tool called Blackbox by Helium 10. Helium10.com is one of the best software companies, a bunch of software. But what I can do is they have this searches Amazon in a different way than what we normally search it. They've taken all 450 million products on Amazon and indexed them into a different way that's ideal for us as a seller to find what we want. We can go in and we can search by category if we want, or we can search all of Amazon. It depends on what you want to do. So you can choose a category, but you can come in here and you can put, I'm looking for something with monthly revenue of $10,000 or more. Or I'm looking for something in a price range with a low of $19.95 to a high of $49.95. Or I want something with at least 10 reviews. That way I know it's not a brand new product and maybe has less than 200 reviews. That means that's not a lot of reviews. That's someone that has a okay amount of reviews, but we're looking for the holes in the system here, because people that maybe have low reviews, but they're selling really well. Maybe their review rating is a 4 or less. Typically, that means there's something wrong with the product. I can look at the reviews and maybe I can fix it. When I'm talking to the manufacturer at Global Sources, I can say, hey, people are complaining that this spatula, the handle gets hot whenever it's over their stove. Can we make something that's cool to the grip or whatever, and try to fix the problem. The number of images they have on a listing, typically, if someone only has 1 or 2 pictures on their listing, they're missing a lot of opportunity. So I can tell it, find me products that have 2 or less pictures on their listing. And also the number of sellers. I don't like to share the buy box. I don't want to be on there with Amazon selling and 20 other people. So typically, if the maximum is 1 seller, that means that it's a private label person like me and you. So it's easier to compete with someone like that. So all these criteria, search that in, and this database will go and find everything that meets all of that criteria. And it spits back more than 200 products that met all of that criteria that I just punched in. And I can scroll through this and look for things that catch my eye that maybe I'm interested in. Well, let's say as I do that, I find these candles here, these votive scented candles. That looks kind of interesting to me. So I click on it and go over to Amazon and look, it's only got 1 picture. Their title's not very good. Their script, their bullet points, they only have 3. They're just missing major opportunity here. And so I could come in and probably do a better job with this and crush them. I then use the extension called the Helium 10 extension. It only works in the Chrome web browser. And I hit this profitability calculator. And it gives me a rough estimate of what the numbers are on this. So I can put in, maybe I was looking on the Global Sources website, or I met somebody, or just guess, it's going to cost me about $7. and it will automatically bring in the sizes, so you can adjust these. Maybe you're changing your size, or you're going to, instead of $25.49, you're going to sell this for $22.99 or whatever. You can play with this, and it'll give you these rough estimates. You can add other costs. Maybe you got $1 for a nice package, or you get some, you're going to make a logo or whatever it may be. And it'll show you these numbers at the bottom. It'll show you what the net is from January to September and from October to December, because Amazon changes their fees during the holidays. I always go with the October, December numbers, even if I'm going to sell this in the summer, because it's the worst case scenario. But you can look here and you can see that you have a profit margin of about 28% and an ROI of about 87%. Now, ROI to me is the most important number. The mistake I made when I first started selling is I focused on profit. And profit is good. You need profit if you're going to sell on Amazon. But by focusing only on profit, you're doing yourself a disservice. ROI is my most important number. It's profit divided by investment. And the reason ROI is so important is because it's going to determine how fast you can grow, whether you need to take outside money, like get a loan, or to help grow your business. It's going to be the number one factor. And there's this really smart guy named Albert Einstein. He said compounding is the key to rapid growth on Amazon. And so, or actually, he actually said the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. And I said compounding is the key to rapid growth on Amazon. Well, that's why I focus on ROI, so I can try to grow my business faster without having to take additional strains on the business with outside loans or anything like that. So like in this example here, if these numbers were hypothetical, we'd be making about $7.07 profit on each one we sold. What, 300 per month? 10 per day, that's about $2,100 in profit per month, assuming these numbers were accurate. So that's an ROI of about 106%. It's a little bit different than what the calculator shows, because I calculated a little bit different. It's just a rough estimate. That's not necessarily what you're going to get in your accounting software. It's just a rough estimate. But you know what? I would not do this product. Some people might be happy with it, but I want a minimum of 150% ROI. The higher, the better. You can do lower ones if you want to, but I like to try to find stuff that has higher, because it lets me grow faster with less inventory. I don't have a lot of products. I don't sell thousands of products. I sell 15 to 20 products, and I find stuff that has these good ROIs where I can easily manage it without a huge team and grow without a lot of outside capital. So in this case, I would not do this product. Well, what's a product that I would do? Like I said, I'm going to use that secret weapon again, helium-10, and the best place actually to hide a dead body is anywhere past page 1 on Amazon. If you're not on page 1 of the search results for whatever keyword someone's typing in, you're not going to get very many sales. And most of the sales come, in fact, in the top 6 results, and probably half of them in most categories come from the top 3. So you really need to try to get to the top of the page if at all possible. So how do you figure this out? And how do you find products where you have a chance to do that using this technique I just showed you, the secret weapon black box, and all the criteria based on how much money you have to invest? Plus, you need to factor in what's the opportunity. It's not just finding the product that meets the criteria. The next step is you got to make sure there's the demand on Amazon and that it's not too competitive, that you can go in there and compete. So let's take an example. If you had $10,000 to start, I'm going to divide that by 2.5. So we need to find something where we can spend about $4,000 on our initial inventory. So I'm just going to say, for purposes of example, I want something that sells 15 per day. I mean, you could choose any of these others, but I'm going to say 15 per day. So that 15 per day tells me I need a landed cost, if you look at the 5th column over, of about $7. I need to sell it for between 28 and 63 bucks to have a good chance of this. So I'm going to go back over to our good friend, the black box, and I'm going to put these numbers in. A price of $28 to $63. I'm going to put the monthly sales of between $450 and $600, because I'm looking for 15 a day times 30. That's $450, and I can go a little bit higher. That's okay, or you could make that $400 if you want. The review count in this time, these are not the magic. This is not the magic formula. You're going to adjust this based on your mind and your thought process. So, but this is just where I start. I have a minimum of 20 reviews, because I don't want a product that's just started, because maybe they're doing a lot of special promotions and the data might be misleading. So if someone has 20 reviews, most likely they've been selling for a little while. And I don't want someone that has a lot of reviews, because I want to find someone who's kind of crushing it and doing well, but doesn't have a lot of reviews, because that means if they have a lot of reviews, they have 10,000 reviews, it's going to be very difficult for me to compete with them. But if they only have 150, I can come in and make up ground on them pretty quick. I'm going to show a review rating of 4 or less because I want something to be wrong with the product so that I can read the reviews and try to fix it. Again, like we said, the number of sellers 1 and the variation count 1. The reason I do the variation count 1 in this case is because I don't want to start with a bunch of colors or a bunch of sizes. It's easier to just start, get your feet wet with 1, and then add later. So that's why I'm on variation count of 1. I punch all that in, hit the search button, and it spits out a couple hundred different choices. I scroll through them. I find these 3 potentials. Some sort of basketball shooting net, a camera, a spy camera, and some little beanbag type of thing for coaches. So I'm going to do that profit calculator. I'm going to run them through all my little numbers, and I can see that the one on the left has the best ROI, 200% ROI. So I'm like, okay, this one looks really good. Let's take a deeper dive into this one instead of the other 2. So I go click over to Amazon. There it is. It's a little spy camera. Looks like a little rectangular box. Looks pretty cool. Looks like it's a pretty good listing, but I think I can compete here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pull up my profit calculator, and I might go to Alibaba, or you can go to Global Sources and actually punch it to just get a rough estimate. I'm not going to call the factory yet. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm just going to try to get a rough estimate of how much this is going to cost. According here, it says it's $5.09 if I order more than 200. And I'm going to put in a manufacturing cost. I add 10% to it, so that's why I put $6.60. I add 10% just to cover my rear, just in case. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that ASIN. I'm going to go over to Helium 10's tool called Cerebro, and I'm going to punch that ASIN in because I want to try to reverse engineer what is this product maybe making its sales on? Which keywords are people possibly searching for that's leading to sales on this? That's what this does. And it spits back in this particular case in the green on the middle right. You can see 3,500 keywords are potentials. I'm like, man, that's just too many. I don't have 2 days to scroll through all these, so I need to narrow that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, just show me the better ones. Maybe a search volume of over 1,000. Maybe competing products, in this case, under 1,000. I want a word count of, say, 2 or more. That means I don't want stuff that's just like camera or spy. I need something that's spy camera. Maybe you change that to 3, so it's spy camera dashboard or whatever. But you can play with this. That's just to narrow this down. Once it's going to narrow these results, those 3,000, down to a handful. And this is what I'm going to focus on. So as I start looking through this, the one in the red box says NannyCams wireless with cell phone app. I mean, it's a pretty long keyword. But it's got 11,000 search volume, only 483 competing products. That's not bad, because most of those 483 probably are just junk. It's just stuff showing up there. It's probably only a handful that are actually competing. But you know what? That's a really long keyword, and I don't want to have a phone app. A phone app is, I don't want to mess with that right now. So I'm going to skip that, but I'm going to scroll down and look at Cámaras Espías. It's Spanish. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of Spanish search volume going on in the U.S. market. It's got 8,500 searches a month, and only 772 competing products. That looks kind of interesting. So let me go over to Amazon and type in Cámaras Espías and see what happens. So I go over to Amazon, type that in. I'm going to go back to our old trusty friend, that Chrome extension, Helium 10 Chrome extension. And this time, instead of hitting profitability calculator, I'm going to hit X-ray. And X-ray is going to take a look at everything that's ranking for Cámaras Espías and kind of give you an idea of the market. It shows it's about $522,000 market per month, so that's not bad. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this by sales. So I'm going to sort this by, I don't care about revenue, I care about units sold. So I'm going to sort it from the highest to the lowest sales. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll over with my mouse the ASIN on the left-hand side. Those ASINs, the second column on the left, I'm going to scroll over them, and I'm going to look for all the ones that are similar to mine. Remember, my spy camera is like a little square box. So like the one on the right, that's not my competition really. That's like a ball. It's something different. So I have to think in the mind of the customer and who I'm competing against. I'm competing against the little square ones. So I'm going to find all the ASINs that look like the little square one, and I'm going to go back over here I'm either going to go to Blackbox and type in that ASIN, and and do this too. It's another way to do it. Instead of using this X-ray tool here, you can actually go over and use Black Box and just type it in, and it will do a very similar thing. But once I figured out what these are that are the most similar to me, you can put up to 10 of them in the Cerebro tool, 10 ASINs in there, up to 10. And I'm gonna hit get keywords. Or if you want, you can hit get competitors. And I like to hit the get keywords, but there is another option I just added where you can hit get competitors and it will kind of do the work for you. It shows you the pictures all here and you can go through and select the ones you want. But once you've done this, what it's going to do is it's going to take all these ASINs and it's going to compare them to each other. And it's going to create this grid, this master grid. But master grid is going to show a lot of results again. So I need to filter it down. So I'm going to say a search volume this time of 300 or greater. Competing price, I'm going to raise it up to 8,000. I want a competitor average rank of 24. What that means is the average of all 10 of these guys is the 24th position. There's 16 usually on the page 1. Some pages have 24, some have 48. So sometimes I change this to 16. I want to see at least 3 or more of these 10 are ranking for a keyword. And Helium 10 has something called a competitor index score. It goes 0 to 10. I just say, I put in, you can leave it blank, but I put in show me the ones with an 8 or above. It's kind of like their little indicator, internal indicator. And it's going to spit back a chart that looks like this, where it's going to show me the keywords that all these guys are ranking on. And I'm going to sort it in the blue, I'm going to sort it by search volume from highest to lowest. And then in the red, it's going to show me how many I might have to give away. If I'm doing a launch or a promotion of some sort to get ranked to page 1, to rank for Mini Spy Camera, that top one, it's going to take 176 units. So I either got to give them away at a heavy discount, run some PPC, or use one of the rebate services or whatever. Divide that by 8. So that's what, about 22 or so per day that I'm going to have to give away to get ranked for 8 days in a row to get ranked on page 1. That's a little steep. The competitor rank on the green box shows me the average for all these guys. Lower is better. So you can see there's some that are in the 9s there. So those are some keywords that I'm going to take a closer look at. But as I look at these, the ones in the yellow box are ones that stood out to me. So Cámaras Espías, Cop Cam hidden camera, Camera Espía, Mini Camera Espía, and hidden cameras for home. All those look fairly good. Not too many giveaways, not too many competitors. Looks like stuff that I can maybe go in and compete on. Notice I'm not going after the best keyword, Mini Spy Camera, the big one, because there's a lot of people already there. It takes more money to try to rank. I'll come back later after I've got my product out, I've got some reviews, I got some ranking, and then I'll go after that keyword. But when I first launch, I'm going to go after more of the mid-range keywords. Easier to get ranked, easier to have a chance of success. And if it doesn't work, I haven't thrown away as much money. So another way is to discover more golden keywords is you can hit, like I said, you can paste them all in there and hit the get keywords, and it will spit them back out. But this time it shows you can do filter by organic, sponsored, and Amazon recommended. Just a little bit more advanced. Don't worry about that too much right now. It's just a little bit more advanced way that you can do it. And when you do it this way, they give you an Amazon suggested, a recommended rank. It's kind of like what Amazon says is the most important keyword. But if we go back to our example here, if I take these 4 keywords, the Cámaras Espías, Nanny Cams, Mini Cámara Espía, and Nanny Camera, and I paste all these keywords I'm going to go after, the 5 that I'm going to go after, paste their search volume into a spreadsheet. I can see it's roughly 17,000 searches a month for all 5 keywords. I have my ranking, how many I'm going to have to give away to rank, 384. And I like to say that if I do my job right and make a good pictures, make a good listing, have the right keywords, a decent price, I can get about 4% of the sales. Sometimes some products get 20% of the sales, 30% of the sales for a keyword. But I like to say my target is 4%. That's a reasonable low target. You should be able to hit that unless you just screw everything up. So that means that I should be able to make about 700 sales per month if I get ranked in the top positions for these keywords. What, $32.99 each? That's about 23 grand a month in sales. And based on our little profitability calculator, just these are rough estimates. I'm gonna make a profit of about $12,000 per month if I sold this item and targeted those keywords. And those aren't the big keywords, but if I did all my job right. So basically a $10,000 investment could generate a gross profit of over 100K per year. Now, there's going to be other costs in this. You might have some overhead. You might have to run some PPC advertising. There's going to be a few other costs that have to come out. That's not all put in your pocket. But this is an idea of what you can do if you do this right. And you got to do it right. So many people don't understand this, and they do it wrong. It's super important. Another very important cash flow metric is, remember we talked about ROI earlier, but now I'm going to talk about ROII. I'm adding an extra I to it. This is your gross profit per product divided by your inventory value per product. So this number is going to be critical for which products you should keep and which ones you should get rid of. Because sometimes you have products that are making a profit, but they're tying up your cash. They're sitting on the shelf at Amazon, costing you storage fees. You're not deploying your money in the best way. It's kind of like if you have a stock that, the stock is giving me a dividend, and it's nice, but if I invest in this other stock, it's going to give me a better dividend, or the price is going to go up faster. So take example here, these 3 products, one selling for 10, one selling for 25, one selling for 50. If you look at product number 2, it's got a 32% profit margin. It's not bad. So if you're only looking at the profit, okay, that's not bad. I should get rid of product 1. It's got lower profit. The ROII is only 80% on this. It's tying up my money. So if I'm trying to maximize my business and maximize my return and the deployment of my cash, I'm going to consider getting rid of product number 2 because its ROI is only 80% versus the others are 100 to 177. So the high value ones are winners. The low value ones are losers. And you'll free up cash flow by removing the low ones and replacing them with higher ones. This is more important for guys that are already selling. You got several products already out there. It's a great way to optimize your inventory and your portfolio of products. There's a great cash flow spreadsheet. If you go to that Bitly link, I'm not affiliated with these guys. The Dolman Bateman, they're accountants from Australia. They have an instruction video there on how to use this spreadsheet. It's kind of dry, they're accountants, not the most exciting thing to watch, but it's a really good free spreadsheet that can map out and project your whole Amazon business. And so you know how much money you need to have in the bank at certain times. Go check it out. It's really, really cool. All right, that's secret number 2. So I hope you've been liking this so far and you're enjoying this. Let me know in the comments there what you think. I'm going to take a sip while you're typing that, and then we'll go on to secret number 3.
Hey, Kevin, really good information so far. So just a quick reminder to everyone, Kevin's going to be answering questions after the presentation. So if you have any questions for Kevin, go ahead and type them in the comments, and then I'll read them out to Kevin later. Okay, cool. Kevin.
All right. If you guys are ready, here's secret number 3. Say it with me. Secret number 3. All right. Secret 3. This is a new thing that Amazon just recently launched in, I think, January of this year. They're allowing product page targeting. In the past, you had to have a vendor account or had to have AMS access to do this, but now everybody can do it. And so remember what I talked about earlier, that pie graph, that a lot of sales come off other people's pages. I like to go steal. I like to be an Amazon thief. I like to go steal from other people selling on Amazon. Ethically, legally, steal business away from them. So everybody knows these sponsored products related to these items show up at the bottom of pages, or customers also shop for, or sometimes it's customers who viewed this, viewed that, and so forth. Well, these are valuable places to be. And you have to spend a little bit of money here in advertising, but if you can get your product in these places, you can still sell. Some people say 40 to 45% of the sales come from these positions, but you don't just want to willy-nilly just go in here and be on anybody's page, because there's a chance you have a better chance of beating some people, and other people have a better chance of beating you. So how do you do this? How do you target other people's pages? Well, most of you should have been running an automatic campaign, automatic sponsored ads campaign, auto targeting. And once you've been running that for a couple weeks, you can download that report. And when you download that report, you're going to start looking at it in Google Docs or Excel or whatever you use. And you're going to see there's a bunch of keywords in there. It's going to give you a bunch of data, but then there's a bunch of stuff that starts with B, a bunch of gibberish. And you're like, what the heck is this gibberish? Well, those are ASINs. Those are ASINs that Amazon automatically in your automatic campaign showed your product on. It thought hey, people that are buying this kind of, in this case, chocolates, this kind of chocolates might be interested in yours. So they showed you there to kind of test the waters. Well, you can look at that campaign, this data, and see which ones of these you're converting on. Which ones are you making sales on? Which ones are you not making sales on? And they can target those people. The ones that are good, you can start spending money and go and set up a manual campaign and target them. Another way you can find these if you don't have this, or in addition to this, is you can go back to our good friend Blackbox and go into the tab called product targeting. And when you click on that product targeting tab, I can put in here people that I have a chance to beat. So let's say that my product is $29. Okay, I'm selling something that's $29. I have a lower price than everybody who's 30 bucks and above. So I'm going to say, show me all the people that have their price is $30 or more. So that I have a competitive advantage. Let's say I have 102 reviews. Well, I want to show I want to go on the pages of the people that have less reviews than me because I have a competitive advantage. So less than 100. Maybe my rating is a 4.6 for my product. So show me all the people who are sucking wind, who are below me. So show me 4.5 as the maximum or less. They have a worse rating. What's going to do, it's going to pull everything from the frequently bought together, the customers who bought this item also bought, and the Amazon suggested products related to this item. It's going to pull this data comes from these three things on the Amazon page. And it's brilliant. You don't have to sit there and scroll through pages after pages after pages. It's going to spit back a report that looks something like this. You can look at it if you want, but I don't really care to look at it. I download the CSV file. I download that file and it looks something like this. It has all kinds of data. You can do a lot of cool stuff with that, but we'll talk about that another time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this ASIN column, and these are all the ASINs that I potentially have a competitive advantage on. So I want to be on their page to try to steal sales from them. So I'm going to come and copy all these ASINs, and I'm going to go over here and create a campaign. And this time in my sponsored products, I'm going to call it a manual targeting PPC campaign. I'm going to hit manual targeting. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this product targeting tab right there, product targeting tab. And then I'm going to come down here where it says individual products. And I'm going to take that big list and I'm going to paste my ASINs in there, paste all my ASINs in there that I'm going to be targeting. If you have some that are in your sponsored ads campaigns that were getting a lot of clicks and costing you a lot of money, but no one's buying, you could put those as a negative match. So maybe you have some from the sponsored products campaign that they're just weren't working. Put those as a negative match to make sure you never show up on those pages for anything. You can also do category targeting if you want to. You can choose specific categories, and sometimes the ideal place for this is if you have a new product that's not really known. It's something kind of new to Amazon that there's not a lot of searches for it. People don't know about it yet, but maybe it's it's some sort of new dog treat. It's some sort of new animal. It's I don't know, wild boar. There's not much wild boar dog treats. So people aren't really searching for wild boar dog treats, but you could go and target the dog treat category with your wild boar treat and start showing up there. You can test that. That's why you'd use the category one. Now, this is an example of extreme targeting. These guys, these at Nature Gnaws, they're trying to own the Amazon page. Now, if you scroll down this page, if you Google these guys or search these guys on Amazon and scroll down the page, look at this. Look at how much it's their brand on virtually everything. They are owning this. So this is to the extreme, but these guys are cleaning house. They figured out how to game this system, and they're cleaning house. Look at this page one. There's 18 results on sponsored products, and they're all on the first. There's 3 results that the customers also shot for. So this is an extreme example. So if you take a look at this product targeting, test it out, and it should give you some decent results. You got to test it and see, but it should give you some decent results. Now, I've got 3 bonus gifts for you guys for staying on here. We've been going for a little while. I got 3 more. Those are the 3 secrets, but these have come from our Helium 10 Elite program. This is a program not for new sellers. I'm not part of Helium 10. I don't have anything to do with the software, but I manage the training for them, and they have an advanced training called Helium 10 Elites for people that are already selling on Amazon and they want to know these kinds of cool strategies and new latest greatest things. Every month I do something called 7 ninja hacks. They're like really short, just nuggets, like not detailed explanations, just short nuggets. So I want to share as a bonus, if that's okay with you guys, I want to share 3 of them with you right now. So the first one, lots of sellers are having really good success using this URL for ranking. It's called the field ASIN URL. So you would replace it where it's yellow, your keywords, and your ASIN. And if you're sending traffic from Facebook or from your email list or from Pinterest or from somewhere else, and you use this can help you get ranked on Amazon. It's the one that's working the best right now, better than the 2-step URL or the brand URL or some of the other ones. It can work. It can work really good. The second little nugget is if you're having trouble with hijackers or counterfeiters on your product, counterfeit items. Maybe you don't have. If you have brand registry, that's the best way to fight it. But if you're new and you haven't gotten your trademarks yet, you don't have brand registry, here's a way you can have your supplier help you. This is called a die. So this is the packaging box for a product, and it looks something like this when it's flat. When they actually make it, it's flat. The red part's the actual box. You'll see the blue part's the part that folds and kind of gets hidden. Well, so when it's folded up, it folds something like this. But what you can do is you can have your supplier or your box maker put something on the inside where nobody can see it. So maybe it says original or it has your logo or something like that. So you can see in the middle picture when it's folded, it's kind of hidden because it's glued. So what you can then do is if someone is jumping on your listing and you know this is not the same product, order one of theirs, order one of yours, open them up, open the box up, and use that as your proof to Amazon or in court or whatever to say, look, these are not the same product. It's a great way to try to help protect yourself. Brand the transparency program with Amazon is another way if you have brand registry, and but this is a great, almost free way to do it. I'm not going to say it works every single time, but it increases your odds tremendously of getting people off. The third ninja hack is, what if you have someone messing up your listing? Or maybe your competitors are up to no good and they're screwing around, you're changing your title, changing your pictures, or who knows what. You can report them. The best way to report them is to suspect-abuse at Amazon.com. Rather than going through Seller Central and choosing the stuff there, kind of gets into a big queue. This is straight to the horse's mouth. So send a notice to suspect-abuse at Amazon.com. And what you want to do is when these guys get it over there, these guys are mostly low-wage people working in Costa Rica or India, and they have to read your email. Keep it short and to the point. Don't go rambling on about all kinds of this and that. But they have to try to figure out, what is this that the guy is doing? What's the problem here? Well, internally at Amazon, they have SOPs for these things, and so there's SOPs that tell them, okay, if it's this looks like what the problem is, here's the steps you have to follow. Well, if you can tell the person in your email what the problem is, they can go straight to that SOP and they don't have to think for themselves, and the chances of having success go up. These are 7 of the reasons that you could have a problem. The one most often you're going to use is that PDP tampering, product display page tampering. That would be the one that you're going to use the most often. And so if you mention that and say, hey, I think I have a case of PDP tampering, here's why, blah, 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 blah. When the person reads it, they go, oh, okay, let me pull up the SOP for product display page tampering, and here's what to do. So if you use one of these reasons that applies to your situation, it can definitely give you a better chance of having success. So everything I've been going over, these 3 secrets, these ninja hacks, this is the type of stuff I'm going to be presenting for, I think it's about an hour or so at the summit, along with a lot of other great speakers. And there's some cool networking that's going to be happening at the Asia World Expo from the 27th to the 29th of April. Remember, like I said, this is a great place to source for products too. If you decide that you want to come to the summit, and I encourage you to do it. I mean, I was there in October. It's great. It's not huge. So you get to meet almost everybody there. There's some incredible networking, some pretty high level people. I made some good business relationships of it. In fact, I made a deal with someone that saw me speak there that could lead to millions of dollars for me just by being there and being present. So, you never know who you're going to meet and what doors are going to open, in addition to the sourcing opportunities and everything. If you decide to go, if you use the code webinar, you can save $100 off the price of the conference. by using the code webinar, you'll save $100. And these are some of the people that are speaking. I know virtually all these people. Sean, CJ's awesome. He spoke before. Andy spoke before. Will is a super smart young guy. Tim Jordan's like down to earth country boy, really good on the sourcing side. Liren, he knows his stuff. John's great at managing accounts. Chris knows how to launch products. Ashland's really good on the insurance and all that kind of stuff. Nick, I don't know Nick very well, but he's the Japan guy. And Brandon has a magazine and stuff that he does. He's a pretty smart guy. Max and of course me will all be there speaking. And so you can save $100 if you go to globalsources.com/summit. globalsources.com/summit. Enter the code webinar if you want to come. It's not that much money to come, and you can listen to all of us. It's a great education. Now, if you decide to come and you want more of the type of stuff that I just did, I'm going to be presenting for about an hour at the conference. But if you decide to come and you're like, hey, Kevin, I love this stuff. I need more. I need more. I need more. I need more. We've put together a special 4-hour training. It's going to happen the afternoon after the conference finishes. If you would like to come to that 4-hour training where I'm going to be, I think I have like 1,000 slides. It's a crazy number. You'll be able to download them, so don't worry. But I'm going to be showing you all kinds of stuff, the whole spectrum from launching to tips and tricks, and just like I just showed you here. And none of it will be the same stuff. It'll be different stuff. And so it's if you want to come to that, you can actually go to globalsources.com/summit. Enter your code webinar to save your $100, and then there's an option there to upgrade. It costs a little bit more money. This is not being recorded. The whole event is recorded, but the 4-hour event is private for your eyes only. And so you'll be able to download the slides, but go check it out. There's a list there of like all the topics and stuff that's being discussed. So I think it's like an extra $800 to come to that, but those $800 in that 4 hours, I can tell you, I've done a couple of these in the past, and everybody, I did one in New York, and I've done one in London, and I'm about to do one in Prague, and then this one here, and I change it up every time, so it's not even the same stuff. But people love it, and you're going to walk away with your head spinning, and you're going to have enough work to give to your VAs and your assistants for a while to really help you on your business. So make sure you go to globalsources.com/summit, get your tickets to at least, at a bare minimum, come to the summit, save yourself $100, meet me, meet the other speakers, network, go sourcing for product. And hopefully you'll also come and spend some extra time with me, and I can show you even more of these secrets, hundreds of them perhaps. Just real quick, if you're interested, my buddy Steve Simon and I, we got something really cool that we're cooking up. You can go to Kevin and Steve and find out more about it. It's not a course, it's not a training, it's not a webinar, it's not a done-for-you service, it's not a mastermind or software. It's something that's revolutionary in this business, but we're going to be announcing it in April. Just go to kevinandsteve.com and just enter your email address. You'll get on the notification list. If you're new to the business and you want to know A to Z how to sell on Amazon, or maybe you've even got a couple of products already and you're like, I took another course, but I just feel like I'm missing something, you can go to freedomticket.com. There's a free webinar there, or you go to freedomticket.com/join, and you can come join me, or I do live Q&As every week with my students, and it's a 22 hours course, A to Z on how to sell on Amazon. If you're already selling on Amazon and you're crushing it and you want advanced tips, you can join the Helium 10 Elite. Just go to amzmarketer.com/elite, amzmarketer.com/elite, and you can join us. We do live about 3-hour webinars, kind of like this, every single month with the latest cutting edge stuff, guest speakers. We have another one coming up soon. So if you get in now, you'll be able to get in on that one. And remember, this is take a screenshot, or grab your phone. If you don't know how to take a screenshot on your laptop, take a screenshot of this slide, because this has all the links, has your webinar code, save your $100, where to go to get your tickets, has the links to everything else. Plus, the most important part probably for you guys is what's in the white box, how to download the slides from this presentation. So if you go to that link, you only have to enter your email address. It's not to just go to that link, amzmarketer.com. Make sure you do it capital H and capital K, and you can download the slides from this presentation. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope to see you in Hong Kong. And I just want to say thanks to everybody. I appreciate it.
Wow, that was incredible, Kevin. Thank you so much. it's a good thing these slides are, I mean, this presentation is being recorded. So I think people will have to go back and kind of review all of the steps that you've shared today. That was absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, we have a few questions.
Sure.
So, okay, I'm going to read them out to you. So somebody's asking, can you please detail the process you use with your supplier to use Sinosure and optimize your payment terms? So this is from Etienne Emile, and we got this in our Facebook group.
Yeah, so Sinosure is a program that's backed by the Chinese government that ensures inventory, and it's basically credit for factories. You cannot apply to Sinosure. You can't call up Sinosure and say, hey, I want some terms. But most likely, your factory, especially if they're smaller, they're probably using Sinosure. Whenever you issue your purchase order, they need to go and buy the supplies. And typically, you're paying 30% up front and then 70% when it's done. Well, some of these factories work on pretty thin margins. They're not making 70% profit. So they might have to pay for some stuff up front. So they take your purchase order, take it to Sinosure, and Sinosure kind of does a little evaluation of you and says, okay, we'll give you the credit or the terms. And so your factory uses that. So a lot of times, though, they get terms that are longer, like maybe 90 days or a year or whatever. But they're still charging you to 70%. So they then you become the bank. And so what you can do is if you know your supplier is using Sinosure, you can ask them. You can use that in negotiations and say, hey, I know you're using Sinosure. I know they're giving you some terms. So how about we do this? If you want to do business with me, you use Sinosure. They only insure up to about $200,000, and they will only insure about 80% of the value. So they won't do the whole thing, and they won't do huge orders. But if it's a smaller order, you can say, look, I'll give you the 30% up front, but I'll give you another 30% when it passes the inspection, or maybe 40%. And I'll give you the other 30% once it lands in the United States or Europe, or maybe 30 days. Because you can use that to negotiate with if you know they're using them. And someone will tell you, no, get lost. But sometimes it'll work, and that can help you free up cash that you can then either place bigger orders with or increase your product mix or your chances on Amazon.
Okay, fantastic. So we have another question. How does the time spent on a page influence the A9 algorithm?
Very little, less than 1%.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that think that it does. It's less than 1. It is a factor, but it's less than 1% of the score.
Okay, cool. So let's see, we have one more question. What are the best ways to do product research to find profitable products to sell on Amazon? I think
I just showed you exactly that. So go back and rewatch the video. I just showed you exactly how to do that.
Yeah, cool. And then is Amazon too saturated to start selling now?
No, not at all. Amazon is a great opportunity. A lot of people will say it's too saturated. The boat is passed. What's the next best thing? Amazon's only getting better. I mean, their sales have almost doubled in the last 2 years. So the opportunities are immense on Amazon. I would go all in on Amazon, but you got to differentiate your product. You can't just do a Me Too product, and you can't just use these tools like Jungle Scout and stuff and punch in the same thing that everybody else is pumping. You got to think with your head, and you got to use methodology like I showed you here to find the opportunities. And I mean, you can go to a great thing to do is go to like global sources, and maybe you don't know what you're going to sell. You walk the aisles, and you find cool, interesting stuff. And the beauty about being there is you can hold it in your hand, and you can look at it. You can talk to the rep, or maybe in some cases even the owner of the factory is sitting there, and you can discuss with them. And then you can go back to your hotel room at night and look it up and do the data analytics on it and say, look, this looks great. Let's go back the next day and let's make a deal, or put in talk to them. And it cuts down your lead time dramatically. Instead of having to order samples, wait for them to come by ePacket or DHL or whatever, get samples from all these different factories, decide which one's best. It can accelerate your time to market dramatically. But the opportunities are great. You just can't be a Me Too product. You have to differentiate, and you have to look for the holes. But there's tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, totally agree. And another thing is that if you're at a trade show, then suppliers will take you seriously as well, because they know that you've spent the time and effort, traveling to a trade show, and you're spending a week over there. So they know that you're a serious buyer, and they will, give you the best quotes.
Exactly. And a lot of times by meeting them in person, you'll save money over going to some of the websites that are out there. The source, there's different ones, even off global sources. Sometimes you go to globalsources.com and you'll get a price, but by meeting them in person, sometimes that price is even lower. So there's so many advantages to getting on a plane and going to Hong Kong. If you've never been to Hong Kong, it's a first world city. I mean, it's not something, people are worried. Most Westerners don't even need a visa to go there. Yeah, so it's a great place to go. Um, it's like London. It's like London with a Chinese language. But most people speak English. It's don't be worried about that if that's something you're worried about.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's very easy to get around Hong Kong, and even at the trade show, like most suppliers have people speak who speak English at the booths, so you don't really need a translator, or it's very easy and convenient to communicate with suppliers at the show. Okay, so we have a couple more questions. If I'm a beginner, should I start with selling on Amazon or my own website?
No, don't mess around with your own website. I mean, unless you got a lot of money, you should start on Amazon because Amazon already has. If you start on your own website, you have to drive the traffic. You got to go run Facebook ads or Google ads or funnels. I mean, that's a different business model, and it can be successful if you do it right. But it's a little bit harder to do. I could tell you, like people that are selling on their own website. There's a company called ClickFunnels, and they only have about 400 people that have done over $1 million in sales doing that method where they're driving sales to their own in the last 5 years. Some of them are doing very, very well, and you'll hear their stories. You'll see webinars about how well they're doing, but it's only like 400 or so of them. Look at the numbers on Amazon, and last year, over 23,000 people sold over $1 million in gross revenue on Amazon alone. So you do the math on that. Which one has a better chance? Amazon has the market already, has the eyeballs. You should be able to find opportunity on Amazon, and then learn how this e-commerce business works. Learn how to source and deal with factories. Learn how to get pictures done. How to write listings. How to do keywords. Use Amazon. Leverage Amazon. Make a little bit of money, and then if you want to go off on your own, okay, great, go off on your own. But I would definitely start on Amazon, no questions. Don't even ask again, kind of thing. You don't need to ask mom and dad. Just do it.
Okay. Okay, so another one. What are some of the other marketplaces apart from Amazon to sell products on?
There's hundreds of marketplaces. I mean, eBay is the next biggest one. There's in China, there's Taobao, and there's tons of them. Walmart and Jet and these. But Amazon is where you want. They're the big gorilla. In the U.S., they have over 50% of all e-commerce is Amazon. There is no better place. And the beauty about Amazon is once you learn it in one market, whether it's the U.S. or Japan, Australia or UK or Germany, wherever you start, they have 12 markets. So once you master it in one, a lot of people start in the U.S. because it's the biggest one. Then you can expand out to these other markets and double and triple your sales and you already know what to do. The systems work very similar. It's different language. You got to do some translation and stuff, but the opportunity is tremendous, and the ecosystem around Amazon is way better. The third-party tools that help you find keywords, that help you monitor your listings, that help you do all the stuff that Amazon doesn't give you. But there's third-party like Helium 10. Those primarily exist in the Amazon space, and there's a lot of them, and they're really good. So yeah, I would not worry about any other marketplaces right now at all.
Okay, cool. Let's take the last question. So what are your predictions for the US-China trade war?
I think it's going to go away. I think it's yeah, or it may stay at 10% for a while. I mean, I know Trump just extended it, the deadline, because there's quote unquote progress being made. I think I'm not worried. I'm not too terribly worried about it at all. I mean, if it does stay at 10% and that just never goes away, I don't think it's going to go to 25. But if it goes to 25, it might be short. It might be for a month or something like that. Then somebody's gonna give in. But even if it stays at 10, it's still a pretty good deal. I mean, you can start looking at other places, and I think global sources they help you. You don't have to just source in China, Vietnam, and Indonesia, and there's other places where you don't have those issues. And so you could start looking at that kind of stuff as well, if it really worries you, or if it stays.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Kevin. So I don't think we have any more questions. Yes, I just wanted to add, for Global Sources Summit, if you're thinking of attending the summit and buying your ticket, you should buy your tickets before Feb 28th because we are offering a hotel sponsorship of up to 2,000 Hong Kong dollars if you buy your ticket before Feb 28th. So you have a couple of days. And this is a cash sponsorship that is paid to you in Hong Kong dollars when you attend the summit and the trade shows. And after you've bought your ticket, just send us an email at summitinfo@globalsource.com to let us know that you want to avail the hotel sponsorship. As Kevin said, the summit is a great place to hear a lot of the top e-commerce sellers, and there's a lot of networking. We have, networking breakfasts and lunch, and we also organize a networking after party on one of the days. So it's a great event to meet new people and hear from some of the top Amazon experts. So definitely think about it. Go check out the website, globalsource.com/summit, and we hope to see you in Hong Kong. All right,
Cool.
Kevin, I think that's a wrap. So thank you very much for your time, and I will see you in April.
Cool. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to meeting you guys there. See you soon.
Yep. Bye-bye.